Welcome, everyone, to Silver Screen Review by My Mama Done Told Me. This is a segment of our show where we watch picture films.
Yes, we do.
And then we get together and we talk about it. So welcome. I'm your host. I'm Jeff Kolaski. I'm here with my co-hosts, my sister Lauren. Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
Welcome to Silver Screen Review. And, of course, Mama Cat.
Hey.
Oh, and the co-host with the most, Trixie.
Little Twix.
All right, so we'll get a few things out of the way up top. We'd like for you to go rate and review our podcast on your favorite podcast streaming services. Let us know what you think of our show. If you want to connect to our family, you can find us on all our social medias, and those you can find where, Mother?
On the Shoinoids.
Or you can shoot us an email at podcast@gmail.com. This week for Silver Screen Review, we watched a 2025 release from good old Netflix called The Life List. Here is the trailer.
I know how close you and your mother were. She told me many times. She just had something else in mind for you.
What is this?
She wanted you to open it when you were alone. Do you have a DVD player?
Yeah. It's in the closet next to the VCR and the butter churn. Hey, Bean.
Last week, I was getting my affairs in order. I found this list. I know you were only 13 when you wrote it, but it is a map toward your best self.
As a life motivator, this is kind of genius.
Really?
Go all out in a mosh pit. Play one-on-one with the New York Knicks.
Do stand-up comedy. Walk me through that.
You're not funny. Every time you check off something from the list, Brad is going to give you one of these DVDs.
Everyone you love never dies.
Are you kidding me?
This is totally crazy. But I trust your mom.
It's like I've fallen down this weird rabbit hole. Family secrets.
Dad, you can't just drop a bomb like that and walk away.
Private detectives. Becoming friends with a lawyer.
So we're friends now.
Find true love. Why do I have a horrible feeling you've given up on that one, too?
So you and Alex. You always talk like there's something wrong with you. It's bullshit.
Life is beautiful and messy and complicated, and sometimes it doesn't look the way you think it's supposed to look. Keep going. Okay, learn to drive, get a tattoo. You can skip those, please, dear God.
What did you guys think of this movie overall, top-down approach?
I liked it.
You liked it? You're not even, your microphone's not even close to your mouth.
Well, my dog is licking things.
Mhm.
I liked it. But James. It's like James
You just
back
can't
in the
see
day.
it.
Or
Yeah.
no, Bryce. It was more like Bryce.
Yeah, true.
It was
So
a good movie.
You liked,
Yeah.
gosh.
Okay.
Mom, what'd you
I'm going to
think?
be serious
Well,
from now on.
To be honest, I thought it was sort of mediocre. I
Mhm.
mean, I liked it. It was enjoyable. I didn't feel like I wasted my time watching it,
Mhm.
but it was a little under what I expected, I think.
Mhm.
You know, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was well done. The actors were good, all that. But
Yeah, I honestly, I think I have written in my notes, I wasn't bored. It didn't waste my time, but I also wasn't like, it was just,
it didn't really
yeah.
fill
Anyway,
my...
we'll get into it. So, The Life List. Here's kind of what the movie's about. After the death of her mother, Alex discovers that to receive her inheritance, she must complete a list of goals that she wrote when she was a teenager. This quest leads her through a series of challenges, and along the way, she uncovers family secrets, she rekindles relationships, and embarks on a journey of self-discovery. The film blends humor, emotion, and exploring themes of grief, personal growth, and the enduring bond between a mama and her daughter.
Aw.
That's you guys. Written and directed by Adam
Okay.
Brooks, starring Sophia Carson, Kyle Allen, Connie Britton, Sebastian de Souza, and Jose Zuniga, based on a novel by the same name by Laurie Nelson Spielman, distributed and streamed on Netflix. We're going to have all that credit information in the show notes.
Joy Noid.
Let's get into it. If you haven't seen the life list, this is your spoiler alert.
The spoiler alert.
Oh, well. Let's talk about why we chose to watch the life list for Silver Screen Review today. So I have a tendency when I'm looking for movies that, okay, so I chose this one.
I was gonna say I didn't have a choice on
Yeah,
this one.
no, you just got it sent to you. But I have a tendency to lean toward a little bit darker movies or action or things like that. And full disclosure, it almost made our mom stop wanting to do this part of our show with us because she's not as big of a fan of those. So I tried really hard to find a movie that would be somewhat more, a little more wholesome, a little bit more
Rom-com
well,
or something
yeah, I
close.
guess that we could kind of enjoy together, hopefully. So, Mom, how'd I do?
I think you did really well. I
Okay.
really liked the selection. And like I say, I did like the movie.
Okay. Had either of you seen this before?
Nope.
Had you heard of it?
Nope.
It was funny because when I turned the movie on upstairs, Nikki's on her phone or something, my wife, and she says, she looks up at it, she goes, "What are you watching?" And it was like just the opening credits, like nothing had even happened yet. And I said, "It's a movie called The Life List." She goes, "Why are you watching this?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, why am I watching this?" Like, she goes, "For like the podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "I just watched this last night." She had just like randomly
wow.
watched it last night when I was doing something else.
Well, it's
So-
brand new on there. So I think
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
coming up on the little catalog thing when you first turn on as a newly added,
Yeah.
recently added thing. So
Mhm.
yeah.
So, what were your predictions for the movie? Did either of
We
you
knew
watch?
everything immediately.
You did?
Yes.
Well, we felt like it was
We
really
thought we did.
we watched it together.
Okay.
And we felt like it was pretty predictable. You knew
Very.
immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It was very there was no surprise.
When Mr. Ackerman showed up, obviously.
I mean,
Mr.
Duh.
Ackerman.
we knew he was the guy, the attorney.
Bradley.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Bradley Ackerman.
Yeah,
remember?
I forgot that was
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah. Well, that
It
was
was,
my.
it was predictable, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
So some details about the life list. Alex Rose, 30-something-year-old New Yorker working at her mom's cosmetic company and dating her safe but uninspiring boyfriend, Finn.
Ew.
Following her mother Elizabeth's death from cancer, Alex learns she must complete a list of goals that she wrote at the age of 13 in order to receive her inheritance. These tasks range from performing stand-up comedy to finding true love and a bunch of stuff in between. Assisted by the estate's executor, Brad, who provides her with video messages from her late mother on DVDs after each completed task. Alex embarks on a journey of self-discovery. Along the way, she reconnects with her estranged father, discovers the identity of her biological father, and reevaluates her personal and professional life. As she progresses through the list, she ends her relationship with Finn and begins dating Garrett, a coordinator at the shelter where she volunteers. However, their relationship falters, leading Alex to realize her true feelings for, of course, Brad.
Yes.
Bradley Ackerman.
Bradley Ackerman. After a series of emotional revelations and personal growth, Alex completes the life list and inherits her mother's house. Oh, I forgot to breathe in. The film concludes with Alex embracing her renewed sense of purpose and celebrating New Year's Eve with her family.
Oh.
So let's talk about some of our standout moments. Mom, why don't we start with you? What stood out to you about this film?
Well, I think my biggest standout moment, we talked about it the night that we watched it, but as I thought about it after I went home, I think my biggest standout moment was the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
When they went camping. She was supposed to go camping under the moonlight. So her brothers set that up for her to do,
Mhm.
and they were in the backyard. And when they shared how left out they felt,
Mhm.
That was my
that
standout.
was my standout moment. That really touched me, you
Mhm.
know, that because you really didn't think about the brothers much at all, other than
I
they were
did.
just
I
there.
didn't.
And then this mom thing that she was so close to her mom and everything, turned
Mhm.
out that she
Mhm.
was a child of a different father than
Mhm.
theirs. And yeah, and they felt really bad. I think that was a standout moment that she really reconnected or connected with her brothers.
Mhm. Yeah, I thought about that early on, and it's
Mhm.
probably coming from the fact that
Because you're
I'm
male and
a
they didn't
male
even
and a
think about it.
brother. Right.
Yep.
And I'm trying to remember all of the movie. I didn't take notes during it. I
Right.
waited till afterwards to take any notes. But I remember thinking like she's acting pretty like she's the only one who
Mhm.
has any
Who lost their mom or
right.
who
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
has any
when they said,
emotions about it.
have you ever considered how we felt?
Mhm.
You know, I
Mhm.
thought,
Yeah, we felt
"Aw."
left out, or we
Yeah,
like
we
our whole
didn't know.
lives we felt left out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like a story um about being called out of the safe bubble. You in life you have as a kid you have all these dreams of what you might become or things that you want to do, and you have all this energy to put into that.
Mhm.
And then as you get older, you sometimes it can feel like you need to stick to what's safe, and then
Mhm.
you kind of are just trying to
Make
you're
it day to day.
yeah, but
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
also it's almost like you're not taking any risks or anything like
Mhm.
that. So I like the part of the story about sort of being forced out of her bubble in a way that only her mother could do for her, because
Because of the life list. I mean,
right.
I think, made me wish that I would have done that at 13.
Mhm.
And then
Oh,
to be able to look back on that and say, what were my
Mhm.
what was my dream or vision back then? Because I think, like you said, I think you lose that as time goes on
Mhm.
and reality hits of, got to pay rent and got to have,
Mhm.
now you have kids and now you have to do this. And you lose some of those
Mhm.
aspirations maybe that you had when you were a child.
Right. Lauren, if you think back to when you were 13, what kind of things do you think would be on your life list?
Probably really dumb stuff.
I mean, everyone would have like be a multimillionaire and
Or
Yeah.
have a huge house or
be
something.
married to Michael Jackson.
Right. Ugh.
Oh, well, you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Maybe not Michael
What do
Jackson.
you mean if?
I mean, ugh. That is exactly
I
what I
would
mean.
I would marry Michael Jackson.
Now, maybe.
He's dead.
Right. What do you think would be on there?
Um, I don't know, something silly like live at the mall or something. Like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Something dumb. I
Mom, what
don't know.
about you? What do you
I
Oh,
think?
don't
I don't know. I'm trying to think back when I was 13. If anybody listens to this that's really old, they'll know that when I was 13, I wanted a Ben Casey blouse. Now, that was, and I got one. So,
and I got one.
I've never
yeah,
heard
I
of
got
that.
one, a Ben Casey blouse.
A
They
Ben
buttoned up the
Casey
side here.
blouse.
Yep. They would, old people.
Blouse.
would
The fact that you called it a blouse
It
Yeah.
is
was a
just,
blouse as a cotton.
it was a cotton blouse. I wanted a Ben Casey
Top.
blouse.
I don't know. Like I really don't know
I'm
what would
trying
have
to
been
remember.
on
At
mine.
13,
Probably like
maybe if you sat down with all your girlfriends and you said, let's make a life list. But I don't think I thought that far ahead about anything.
I would have
Survival.
at 13 I had just started playing the drums about a year earlier, so it definitely something on there would have been
Mm-hmm.
like being in a band.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah. Probably would have said something about like saving the world or something.
Mm-hmm.
you dork.
You just got done saying how nerdy your stuff would be and you wanted to live in the mall. Okay. If you lived in the mall now, you'd live in like a
Yeah, it'd be so peaceful.
it'd be so
It'd be
empty.
so nice. It'd
Okay.
be super nice. And you have like you know,
Well, I told
you
you
have
about the
choices
YouTube
as
video
far
that
as
I saw
food.
about the sixth grade boys that were filmed to talk to themselves, like
Oh,
to
yeah.
ask. It was really interesting, and I thought that was really cool because they were sixth grade videoed asking themselves at graduation questions. And so then they replayed it at their real
Mhm.
graduation time and they
Hmm.
answered back the questions to themselves, like, you know,
Mhm.
do you still like to skateboard? And,
Aw.
you know, and where are you going to go to college? And all these things. Do you still, who's your favorite,
Mhm.
whatever? And it was just very sweet
Mhm.
because they were looking at the screen, talking back to themselves, answering the questions that they had when they were in sixth grade. So it kind of reminds me of the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to
Yeah.
look ahead.
Right. So let's get into some of the thing, some more standout moments about the movie, and I felt like the movie was fine,
Yeah.
and like I said, I enjoyed it the whole time.
Mhm.
You know, I didn't someone finding their way in the world by their mom having planted this like little game kind of deal um from the grave pretty much. You know, it's a fun, interesting story, but there were some things about the movie that I'm about to rip apart because because I they bothered me a little bit, and just in the you know, I guess in the sense of like we're talking about the movie, so let's talk about the things that annoyed me.
Mhm.
Um I thought the relationship drama in it was really, really stupid.
Mhm.
Um I like that she ditched Finn,
Mhm.
you know, that's great. Whatever, I'm fine with that. But the whole, you know, Brad's the cute lawyer and, you know, we're just kind of friends and he has this perfect girlfriend
Mhm.
and of you know, she meets this Garrett who's this perfect guy with the cool accent and all
Mhm.
that. And then of course, the first time he's uncomfortable, he's a total douchebag, you know,
Mhm.
when he says, you know,
Well,
why would you
and
bring people
the girlfriend just disappears. She's just like,
Yeah, she just
"Oh,
left.
you
Oh, I
like
know.
her? Okay, bye." Like,
Right.
what?
And
Yeah.
then
No, that's not how that would go at all.
right. And then so Brad shows up, you know, and says, you know, she had a work emergency and had to go, and then they go and have a great time, and then they go back and they hook up,
Mhm.
and you know, this whole time she thinks he's cheating on his girlfriend with
Mhm.
Yeah.
her, and then
Mhm.
as soon as he says, actually we were broken up the whole time and you know, because of you, and she gets mad at him
Yeah.
Yeah.
and is
Like
like, well,
what?
I'm not interested anymore. Well, you
Right.
were interested in the affair or
Mhm.
whatever you
Mhm.
want to call it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
In the heat
now
of the moment.
that's just a stupid
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
to me
dumb.
that was pointless.
They didn't need to have
The
the
whole
boyfriend
relationship thing
Right.
the boyfriend thing.
at
Yeah.
all. Like
Mhm.
it could have been a way better story. I don't mind. Again, I don't mind the Brad thing. Fine. Make it
You knew that was gonna
that's
happen.
rom-com at
Yeah.
its finest, you
Right.
know.
And that was on the list. She had to find true love.
Right.
So we knew that was
So
coming.
having that a little bit of a misdirect is okay, you know, and they did that a few times in this movie where, you know, you thought she found her great dad, but it wasn't really a misdirect. Everyone saw that
Yeah,
coming.
and nobody really cared.
Yeah.
Nobody
No,
cared about her dad.
no
No.
one cared about most of the things that happened in this movie. That was the other thing.
That's my problem is
Go ahead.
when I think earlier when we were talking you said something about tearjerker. It wasn't a tearjerker. It didn't grab my heart
Yeah.
at all in any way, shape, or form. There was
Well,
one part that grabbed my.
Yeah.
I didn't tear up at all. Did you, Lauren?
no, but I also don't do
Which part?
that. Which part?
Oh,
Nothing.
I mean,
I
what?
don't do that. I don't.
I know I do, but
Well,
I mean,
so
I didn't feel it really heart tugging. And
I was watching it and Nikki was up there and that was the second time she had watched it and she said the second time both times it did.
oh,
And I did feel it at a few different points because I think I was just in the right mindset that I didn't really care about all the corniness.
mhm.
Mhm.
It was the stuff with the mom. It
Mhm.
was when she talked about when they when the boys and stuff were watching their mom on the
Mhm.
video, and when
Yeah.
you know, and like you said,
Yeah.
because after they met up with after the camp thing, and you got to know like they felt left out, and then they go watch the DVDs of their mom
Right.
talking to Alex.
Right.
That kind of broke my heart a little bit, because I was
Mhm.
going, well, they're still being left out. They're watching
Right.
it
Yeah.
talk to
Her.
her.
Mhm.
You
Right.
couldn't have made a few of these for me too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even
Yeah.
if I did have my life together, quote unquote,
Mhm.
like that was a little bit much. But
Mm.
there was too much. They took a lot of stereotypical storylines that normally would take up a whole thing, a whole movie, and tried to put it into one. So you've got the weird love triangle thing. You've got
It's not even a triangle. It was
right,
like a hexagon.
right,
That's weird.
and then you have the her going to be a good teacher with the one problematic student, and like,
That was never fully
Mhm.
played out.
no, it was
know,
this short little weird thing where
Right.
we've seen 100 movies where there's a
Yeah, where
teacher that
that's
goes
the
into
storyline.
yeah,
And that was
Yeah.
really cool when the kids showed up with that drawing with all the
right,
Mhm.
but it was
like
so underdeveloped
yes,
though,
Yeah.
exactly.
and I don't even think they
Yeah,
should have
don't
developed
even
it,
care.
right,
Yeah.
but
But
it's such a short piece, like,
Like we didn't have enough time to care about anybody in this
that
movie.
yes,
that's what
Except for
that's
her
exactly.
and the mom.
right,
That's it.
and they could have left it at that.
Mhm.
They made all of the things on the life list too
Big.
big
Yeah.
and didn't focus enough on
Yeah, because it
her.
would be different if it was a TV show or something where they could really
Yeah,
flesh that out.
Where it was
Each
a
thing,
series,
it was like,
each episode was
yeah,
a
like
different.
maybe each
Mhm.
one was a new thing, or maybe each season is
Right.
like accomplishing
Yep.
something.
Yep.
But
right,
not for a movie. You
Because she
can't.
had to do it all in
Yeah,
a
you
year.
don't
She
have
had to do it
enough
in 1
time
year.
which
to
is
do
another
it in a
part that I
movie
don't understand. Why did her mom put a time limit on that?
because she knows she would procrastinate. Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's what I was thinking.
Now, this was based off of a novel, so I wonder how much better the novel is.
I don't know.
Like, if they have time to really dig into
Probably.
some of those things, and they're just trying to,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
the other overplayed and underperformed part was the finding of the bio dad and the relationship with her non-biological, but the
Right.
father who raised her.
Mhm.
Very cliche.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super cliche.
Like, oh, like, he's disappointed in me. Well, no, he's not. But so I don't talk to him because it always this, and
Right.
then we see each other and it's kind of awkward, and
Mhm.
but you're not my real dad, and I found that out, and
Yeah, and who cares? You're an adult.
right. And then you go find your dad, and you're like, maybe I'm gonna move to
Yeah, move to be with your dad.
to be
like,
with my dad I just met, and he was nice, and go figure, he doesn't show up the next morning. Like,
Yeah.
we all saw that
Duh.
coming a mile away.
Right.
So it was, like you said, there was never a spot in this movie that I didn't say, well, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it sounds like I'm talking a lot of crap on the movie because there was a lot to be desired. But just as a movie,
It was an
it was
enjoyable show.
fine.
Yep.
Mhm. I think the reason I liked it so much is because I didn't have to use my brain.
Yeah.
Ah,
Uh-huh.
I
could
didn't
just
have to
enjoy it.
guess. I could just watch it
Mhm.
and not like I'm not trying to figure out who's doing what. I already know
Mm.
that. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to, like it was pretty much exactly what it said on the tin,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and that was kind of nice.
I
Yeah.
agree. There's
Yep.
something to be said about
Mhm.
just give me.
Just
Yeah,
this,
just give me a Hallmark Christmas
just
movie.
That was
yeah.
what I was going to say.
Yeah, like just give me
Yep.
a cookie cutter story.
Yep.
It's like the reason I watch Murder She Wrote all the time
Right.
because I know
Mhm.
the the storyline. I know how it's gonna go. By the end of it, they're gonna have the murderer.
Wrapped up.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's gonna get all wrapped up in a nice bow,
Mhm.
and they're gonna freeze frame on Jessica Fletcher smiling or
Right.
riding
Yeah.
her bike or something, and then it's gonna be over.
Yep.
Yep.
The next one will come on,
Yep.
and it'll be the same.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, it's just
something nice.
it's comforting. It's
comfortable
not.
movie.
You don't
Yep,
have to
that's
try
true.
too hard.
Yeah.
I felt like it It a little bit overtried with some of the things that it was trying to do, but it didn't make me try, which
Yeah, which I
I
appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
I mean,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
kind of one of those one of those movies that you can just throw on and you don't have to.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any twist. There's not.
Right.
It's exactly what it says
And
on the cover.
and unfortunately, I think they tried a little bit to give it those twists. Like
Mhm.
like
Oh, you're gonna think
the
that she
dad's gonna
found,
show up,
yeah,
or
Yeah.
that
yeah,
she found it in this Garrett guy.
yeah.
Something that annoyed me a little bit was Brad knew who Garrett was, and he kept saying, like, he kept making a face, and they even called him out on it, like,
Mhm,
well, you're obviously, there's something you're not saying about Garrett. Well, he never said it.
mhm.
Were we supposed to just assume that he knew he was kind of
Like a
an
jerk
OCD pompous, like, kind of jerk?
asshole.
Yeah,
I don't
Mm.
know.
because he never really went into that.
No.
So the other thing is,
Well, and he dated his girlfriend for a while or whatever, so maybe he just we were supposed to assume that
he had
it was like some weird jealousy thing.
some
or
feelings about
something.
that. Yeah. Again, I liked the movie overall, but I do think that some of the acting was kind of subpar too.
Mhm.
It wasn't horrible. I mean, you turn on any, maybe not any, but most like Hallmark movies, like what you
Mhm.
said, and it's gonna be
Mhm.
worse,
Oh
in my
yeah,
opinion.
100% it'll be worse.
But I didn't feel like there was a lot of, for how close she was with her mother,
Mhm.
I didn't feel like the response felt very genuine.
Mhm.
Like the way that she was doing, like everyone felt like they were kind of two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Did you feel
Yeah.
that at all?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And all of the archetypes that they showed, the kooky best friend who's not afraid to say anything,
Yeah.
you know, the uppity brother who cares more about money than he does about the family,
Yeah.
the loser ex stoner video gamer boyfriend
Who
that
ends up being the rich guy.
right. Yeah. It felt like it was taken out of like a movie from like the 80s or something,
Mhm.
and just made it a little bit more modernized.
Mhm.
So there just wasn't
There's
any.
so many tropes in there.
Yeah, for sure. Um
But I thought Brad was a good actor. I liked him. He seemed authentic to me.
Probably the best out of all of
Uh-huh.
them.
That's what I thought.
I really like that kid as an actor. I saw him in something else that I really liked him in, and I think he's really good.
I don't think I recognized a single person from this movie.
Well, Connie Britton has been in a lot of things. She's
it?
The mother.
The mother,
yeah.
yes, I've seen her.
She was in Nashville. She was
Yeah.
in American Horror Story. She's
Okay.
been in a lot of things.
Yeah.
She's very famous.
I just hadn't maybe seen this. I definitely, maybe I recognized her, but
We thought, Lauren and I thought it was kind of strange that the mother never revealed that her father, she had a different father in any of the DVDs. We thought that
That's a
was
good
kind of weird.
point.
And I think what the thing that, I think that was the part, I'm not going to be able to remember exactly how the dad put it, is that, her mom wasn't perfect.
Mhm.
And I think he felt, oh gosh, how do I even say this?
Yeah.
I think he felt like she kept the daughter a little bit of a distance from him. That's why he didn't have the greatest relationship with her, because of this secret.
Right.
And it wasn't all the dad pushing the little girl away. It was the mom keeping her from him.
Well, and keeping a completely separate and different type of relationship with her than she had with any of her other kids,
right?
Or with
her
husband or anything. Yeah. And now that you say it, that was probably something that I didn't predict that surprised me, was that I thought for sure on the DVD that after she figured out that that wasn't her bio dad, she was going to be like, so I'm guessing you found out by now.
Yes. That kind of surprised us that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that there wasn't some
she
kind
continued
of
to keep that.
Right. Even past her grave, she never came clean with that.
Yep.
Yeah, which is weird.
Did anyone think that her bio dad's voice was freaking awful when he sang that song? He's singing
Yeah.
it to her, and I'm
Yeah.
going, and she's looking at it like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, this is so sweet. And
Uh,
I'm
sing,
going,
sing.
am I the only one hearing like
Yeah.
what he's actually saying? Like, this is awful.
Sounds
You couldn't have like
terrible.
voice overed or found someone who could actually sing.
I guess
That
not.
guy's probably like a
Yeah,
award-winning
No,
probably.
musician or something, and just
and it could have just been the sound lip sync
I
thing or
don't
something.
know,
Who
but
knows?
yeah. Predictability. I already talked about that. So, how did you feel when the credits rolled? Movie's over. What were you feeling? Did you have tears in your eyes? Did you have, um, Mom?
I just felt it was a nice show.
Yeah.
It was okay. I mean, I felt like it was good. It wasn't a waste of time, and I enjoyed
Mhm.
being at your house
Mhm.
watching it with you, and we enjoyed it together, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
it was a hour and a half or whatever it was, well spent. And but it isn't that earth shattering.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go home and say you've
Mm.
got to watch this movie or
Right.
ever want to watch it again. I don't care if I
Mm-mm.
ever see it again. I won't see it again, I'm sure.
Do you think that there was any intention to like, mm, so you were a mother and a daughter watching this movie. Do you think that there was like, did that hit you in any certain kind of way? Or, I mean, you guys are close, but they were a weird kind of close
Yeah,
almost.
like
Like
lay in bed
lay in bed
together.
with your
Weird.
face right next to like,
Yeah, we were
we're not really that kind of a family. We're close, but not like
not
that.
that
Mm.
close.
And some people might be, and that's fine, whatever, do your thing. But
Yeah.
like,
That's not me.
do you feel like there
Well,
was,
I felt like it was going to be more. I just didn't get the emotional pull
Mhm.
of the mother, even the mother-daughter relationship. I just
they
didn't.
didn't sell it?
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
And I thought it would. And I thought, watching it with her, we'd probably be crying or something,
Right.
And the closest I came to crying was with when the brothers were feeling bad
Mhm.
about it, and when the brothers were watching the DVDs
Right.
of the
I
mother.
see.
And what?
Stop.
I get it.
I
Yeah.
mean that wasn't even.
Yeah.
I didn't sniffle.
Sure. Lauren,
It
what
was
about
the
you?
closest.
Credits roll and
It's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing really to write home about, but it was a fine, like
Mhm.
I didn't find myself looking at my watch and
Yeah.
going, when is this going to be over? Which a lot of the movies
Mhm.
that we've watched for this have been like that, like
Yes.
the
Mhm.
ice skating one
Yeah,
and
that
the
ice
Well, and the
you know,
After Sun.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
after some.
Like, oh God, it took me forever to get through After Sun.
right. That
But yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't find myself looking at my watch, so I felt good that I
Right.
didn't.
But you could have worked while you were watching it.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
you could have been
Yeah.
working. You could be. I could have been sewing. We could have done anything,
yeah,
and still
anything,
gotten all
still
of the movie and
known
not missed a
exactly what
thing.
was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not missed
Yeah,
anything.
for me this was a weird movie because it was boring, but I wasn't bored.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird.
And it wasn't a feeling of expectation because I
No.
knew what was coming.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of struck a weird right in the middle
Mhm.
chord for me
Well,
because it was, I was fine watching it. I, like you said, this was a 2-hour movie.
yeah.
So it wasn't it's
Short.
longer
Long.
than some of the documentaries we've watched and
Mhm.
things like that. So and it didn't, like you said, I wasn't checking the clock. I wasn't going, how much longer do we have to watch this?
Mhm.
It was fine. I got through it. There were some parts that I actually laughed out
Mhm.
loud.
Mhm.
There's a couple jokes that I was I can't remember
Yeah.
what they were now,
Yeah.
but I thought it was
Well,
fairly
I think
funny.
one thing that helped me hang on was I wanted to know what she was going to inherit.
Oh, true.
I did. I
Yeah.
wanted to know what was going to be the final thing for her.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It was cliche, but like you said, wasn't a waste of my
Mhm.
time. Last question before we get into ratings. Do you think this was a well-made movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
I think there could have been, I think any of the criticism that I have was in the writing and the character
Mhm.
development and things like that. It wasn't really about how the
Mhm.
movie was made.
Mhm.
It looked fine. It sounded fine,
Mhm.
all of that. So, okay. Do you want to rate this thing?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. Finally, we've come to the time in our episode where we need to rate this movie with an official Silver Screen Review rating or an official Silver Screen Review. Each crew member scores the film on a scale of 1 to 10 items, with 1 being as bad as going to your girlfriend's childhood bedroom during a huge party
Ew.
and getting completely naked and dancing on the bed just
Why
to
would you do
indecently expose yourself to 2 small children because you were a complete idiot, and 10 being as great as dancing with your friends in the car while singing That's Not My Name. That's not my name. The item that's used for scoring changes each week depending on the content of the movie. And this week we'll be using DVDs as our rating item. So before we do that, the part that I just made a joke about him being exposed to the children and all that, that was way that was one of the stupidest parts of the movie.
Well, we didn't even know who that guy was.
I don't.
What do you mean?
Like, we weren't even sure that was her boyfriend. We didn't know who that guy was at that point.
I thought
It was very vague.
Oh.
Remember, Mom? We were
No.
trying to figure out if
Oh.
that was even her boyfriend or who
Right.
that was.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Well, I maybe I made an assumption or something, but I felt like I knew who he was at that point.
Yeah,
But
maybe I missed some kind of
Yeah.
eye contact or something, because when we first get there, she's at like a baby shower and everybody's pregnant
right.
or whatever, and she's just making eyes with some guy across the room. I don't know who that guy is. I thought maybe
No,
she
we-
had a boyfriend back home, like maybe she was in town for this thing, and
I
that
wa-
was like
did
a
you, like-
high school.
I think it was her boyfriend.
It was.
And I think he was
But-
giving her the
I
highest.
know it was
I know
her
we never
boyfriend now, but we
but-
didn't know at the time.
Well, I thought it.
But
I
they
w-
but they
I-
gave
because I talked to you about it
Alright,
at
well,
the time.
but we had
Okay.
they had a thing where they said if I give you the ear thing,
Yeah.
let's that means go up to your room and
So,
Oh, I
we'll
don't
make
know.
but,
out
but
like-
I figured
didn't.
it was her boyfriend, but I didn't know it was Finn or whatever his name
Oh.
was, because I didn't really get a good look at him, and he had something on. He was like all
yeah.
goofy,
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
then
I didn't know.
didn't pay that much attention to what he looked like. And then we saw Finn later, and we thought, well, was that the same guy?
Oh, it didn't make it very clear.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Regardless, to go to a party with that many people in the house and then
Mm.
go up to the room, not lock the door,
Mm-hmm.
get completely naked.
Not even your house.
It's not your house. Get completely naked, jumping on the bed to music, and then be surprised that someone walked in. Like,
Yeah.
right.
can you imagine even like consider and then
That
be like,
didn't
"Ooh."
fit the movie at
It
all.
was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It was stupid. Anyway, so we're gonna use DVDs. Lauren, how many DVDs do you give the Life List?
I gave it 8 DVDs.
8 DVDs. That's a lot of DVDs.
It is, but I really enjoy not having to use my brain.
Yeah. Fair.
Yep.
Mom, how many DVDs?
6.
No, you don't.
Huh?
You didn't give it 6.
What do you mean?
You gave it 7.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I made a note of it while you said
I shouldn't have given you 7.
it. Okay.
Should
But
have given you 6. Okay, 7. Whatever. I mean,
we
6
got
or
to
7.
redo the math if you change
Okay.
it to 6.
Okay, well, okay, it was.
You gave it 7. I was writing down when I
Okay.
said it. But
It's fine.
do you want to give it 6 or 7?
No, I'll give it 7 because that's what I said.
Okay. Why 7?
Actually,
Because it was
six.
just okay. It was
Yeah.
just mediocre.
Yeah.
It was like the
Like
movie
Bo
was
said,
well
yeah.
made. I liked a couple of the actors. They did a fine job acting. It was a lot of stupid story.
Mhm.
It could have been a better story than it was. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I gave
Mm-hmm.
this 5, right in the middle. Like I said, yeah, right in the middle. Wasn't
Right in the
good,
middle.
wasn't bad. Was
Mhm.
just a movie.
Mhm.
So that means that we had 6.5 DVDs after we
Yay.
average everyone's scores together. So that's our official Silver
Official.
Screen review. So we want to thank all of our
Only
listeners
Jeff
for
wants to thank
Jeff
our
wants to thank.
listeners.
Lauren wants our listeners to go to bed.
I need to go to bed. Is what I need to do.
This is our 3rd episode of the night. We
Yeah,
had some
I'm
catching up to do.
sleep.
So thanks for tuning in to Silver Screen Review
Yes,
by
thanks.
My Mama Done Told Me. As I said at the beginning, I hope you go and rate and review all of our stuff. Follow us and share and things like that. Keep an eye out for the next episode
Yeah.
of our little variety show that we're doing. And we'll be back with Silver Screen Review in the future. Till next time, this has been Silver Screen Review by My Mama Done Told Me. I have been Jeff.
I've been.
I still am mom.
We want to thank you for listening. We hope you keep your minds open and be kind to each other. We love you, and
Love
good
you.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Can you tell them you love them?
No.
We love them.
Fine.
We love them
What?
because we do.
Do you don't?
Do you don't?
That's
Do you, do you
Do you
don't?
don't love them?
Do you don't love them?
No.
I
None
do.
of them. There's no one out there that you love. Be careful, you don't know who's listening. Tell them.
All right, fine. I'll love you.
What?
I'll love you.
I didn't hear what you said. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye, everybody.
Don't you know? 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 No. Don't
Okay,
you know?
get down for a second. Just wait. I know. I know, but I gotta put the shoe on. But I really don't want to go to work tomorrow.
I'm not going to.
You don't want to what?
I don't want to go to work tomorrow.
Oh. Sorry.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Like clockwork.
My clockwork.
Like clockwork.
All right. Y'all ready?